Hello friends, it's Kristie Marcotte. Today I want to share some cards using Queen & Company's Baby Shaped Shaker Kit. This is one of their older kits, but I haven't used it yet, so I thought this would be fun to pull out and make a few cards. It includes a fun stamp set, of course the dies. There's 4 different images, and then it has that extra little stitch heart. That's super sweet. And then the kit will include enough foam and acetate pieces to make 3 of each design. So a total of 12 shaker cards. This is one of the shaped shaker kits, so it does not include paper or shaker toppings, so you will need to include those. I will be using the outline dies, and this is something you can purchase separately. And then I'll also be including Queen & Company's brand new buttons. There are 4 different styles and they come in a rainbow of colors, and these are so much fun. This first bundle is the flowers. So it's a bunch of different style of flowers. These are my favorite. These are the bitty buttons, and they're super tiny and they fit inside of the shakers as well. Super cute. And then next is the Button Bouquet 4. They come in a rainbow assortment of colors again. I love these. There's some stars. Some of them have a little plaid design on them. And then the last design, it's actually not buttons. These are fun flowers. So there's 3 different sizes of flowers. I love this first one. The yellow has the sunflower, but they all have that same design, just in different colors. Lots of fun new embellishments. And I do have links provided in the description box if you are interested in purchasing any of these. So let's go ahead and get started with my first set of cards. And I'm going to be making 2 of the same card using the same papers. And I'll make one as a shaker card and then the other as a non-shaker card. But to save time on this video, I'm only going to show the process of one of each of those cards. So for this first card, I'm using a sketch from Viva la Verve. This is their May 2018 sketch. All of the papers that I use are by Queen & Company. This first collection is called Under the Sea. The paper is included in their Under the Sea kit, but you can also purchase most of their 6x6 paper pads individually. So the background of the card, I'm just using some tone-on-tone wavy paper, and then I'm combining 2 other pattern papers. I have the fish for that longer banner, and then just some striped paper. I'm layering all of these pieces using some blue cardstock, and this is just cardstock from my stash. And then before I add any of the images, I'm going to put my card front onto a card base, and I will have just 1/8 of an inch of that white card base showing. So for this card, I'm going to use this sweet little onesie image. I have it cut out using the orange polka dot paper. This first piece is using the outline die. So let's put some liquid adhesive on the back, and then I'll attach the foam piece. The foam pieces have adhesive on both of the sides, so you just need to peel off the backing and adhere it onto your design. I'm going to fill up this onesie with some shaker toppings. I have some pearlies and also some diamonds. And I decided to do all of it in the same orange color. So peel off the backing on the other side of the foam, and then I can seal all of those toppings in place with the acetate. Then I'll just put some liquid adhesive on that outside, and then I can adhere that die cut frame. And then I'll also glue on the little heart. I love the stitch detail on all of these dies. I've already gone ahead and stamped out the sentiment. This reads, "So excited for you." I just stamped that in some blue ink. I'll just adhere that to this lower corner. I did put 1 foam square on that right hand side just to keep it all nice and even. And then I'm going to add some foam dimensional tape on the back side of this scallop circle. And I used Queen & Company's foundation dies to cut out this scallop circle die cut. So go ahead and attach that to the card. I'm following this sketch fairly closely this time. So now I went ahead and pulled out an assortment of the buttons. So I have 2 in this darker blue and then the little orange star. Then I'm just going to attach those to the card using a couple different sizes of glue dots. And then just to finish off the card, I'm going to use some of Queen & Company's bling. I started with the blue bubbles, but I decided I didn't like the color, so I switched to the orange bubbles. And then I'm also using some of the orange jelly gems. So isn't that fun? I love the colors on this card. And then there is the second card I made, same design, although I didn't make it a shaker card. That's the nice thing about Queen & Company's kits. The dies work great for shaker or non-shaker cards. Now moving on to the next set of cards. This is a sketch by Studio Calico. I'm using the Under the Sea paper again, this time in more feminine colors. I'm just layering all of these pieces with some pink cardstock, and I decided to round the bottom two corners on this background piece. I always feel like it softens the card a little. I'll go ahead and attach this rectangle piece that has a tone-on-tone pink design. And then I have this banner out of this wavy teal pattern paper. Go ahead and put my card front onto a card base. And for the image on this card, I'm going to be assembling this darling little elephant. And I cut it out using some of the polka dot paper. And I'm not going to do a shaker card for this one, although I will have a shaker card, the same design to show at the end. I still used the outline die, and then I cut out the frame since I love that extra stitch detail. And the baby kit does not come with the die to cut out the little eye. I did use Queen & Company's Bring On Spring kit for that, but you could also just use any really small circle die cut or even just use a pen to mark the eye if you even want to add the eye. I'll go ahead and put some foam dimension on the back of this stitched circle die cut, pop that up. I stamped out the sentiment, "Oh Baby," using some light pink cardstock and then also one of their stitched banner dies. I popped that up using some foam dimensional tape. And then just to add a little more detail to this design, I cut out 3 stitched circle die cuts, 2 of them just using some steel cardstock and then the other using some of Queen & Company's pink glitter foam. And I have a few more of their buttons. I have the flower buttons and then also those bitty buttons. And these are so tiny. I love these so much. I'm just going to adhere those again using some glue dots. And then pull out just a few different colors of bling. I have some of the teal or turquoise iridescent goosebumps and then also some petite posies. There is the finished card and then also the shaker version of the same card design. You'll have to let me know which one is your favorite. Do you like the shaker cards or do you prefer to have that non-shaker design? I like both. It just depends on if I'm going to mail it or hand it to somebody. So moving on to the next card design. This is a sketch from MFT. It's number 230. And the paper collection is the Picture Perfect collection. I'm going to do this one all in green and blue. Just layering that in some green cardstock. And if you are interested in any of the sketches that I show, including measurements, I do share all of that information on my coordinating blog post, and that link is listed below. I'm going to go ahead and put my card front onto a card base. Now for the tag on this card, I cut this out using one of Queen & Company's foundation dies, but it's a little too short to go with the sketch design. So I cut out a second one and just cut about 3/4 of an inch on that lower portion. And then I'm going to place it on the card, and I'm going to have that banner strip going across that lower portion. So it's going to cover up that little bit that's missing, so nobody's going to know that my tag wasn't as long as I needed it. I used some of Queen & Company's trio trims in the green color to thread through the top of this tag. And then I'm popping up both pieces using some foam dimensional tape. So I'll go ahead and adhere that bottom portion of the tag and then the actual tag just right above it. So there's about 1/4 of an inch there it's not touching. And then I'll adhere my sentiment strip right on top. I used Welcome Little One for the sentiment. And I'm just going to put a piece of foam tape on the outside edges of this little banner where it's going on top of this tag. Now for the image, I'm going to assemble a rattle, and I'll be doing a shaker. So I have the outline die and then also the frame of the rattle. I'll adhere the outline die down first. And I'm going to have the handle of the rattle kind of going right above the word welcome. So I attach the foam, and I can fill it with some shaker toppings. And for this card, I'm using some pops in white and then also some blue diamonds. And it's a fairly small shaker opening, so I didn't need to use a lot of toppings. So now I'll go ahead and add the acetate to seal all of those shaker toppings. Put some liquid adhesive on the outside, and then I can glue on my frame. And I almost forgot to put some liquid adhesive on those little strips going across the rattle. I'll just add an acrylic block while the glue dries, and then add some embellishments using some more of the buttons. So I have 2 in green, and then also used one of the bitty buttons, this little heart in blue. And I'm just going to adhere that right between the words little and one. Thought that was super sweet. And just finish off the card with some bling. I have some of the blue candy shop bubbles and then also some white petite posies. And then there is the second card, the non-shaker version, and I used some of Queen & Company's glitter foam for the frame of the rattle, just to add some extra interest. So now moving on to my final set of cards. This is a sketch from Mojo Monday. It's sketch number 531. I'm using the Picture Perfect paper collection again, this time in some more feminine colors. I have some white pearlescent paper for the background, used one of Queen & Company's foundation dies, a stitched rectangle die for that. And then I have 2 different pattern papers, just this colorful striped paper and then also some polka dot paper, layering all of this in some pink cardstock. And just so this pink polka dot paper doesn't sag on that right hand side, I just put a scrap of cardstock underneath. And now for this banner going across the lower portion of the card, I'm using that same pink cardstock. And then just trying to keep everything nice and even. I'm just going to use some foam squares on a few sides and then also just some scrap cardstock. And I just hold it up to the card just so I can see how much extra dimension I'll need to keep all of those layers nice and even. And then I decided to use some of Queen & Company's trio trims, this time in the yellow. I wrapped it around the bottom portion of the card twice, and I'll just adhere the ends on the back side using some red line tape. I'll go ahead and adhere this card front onto a card base. And since most of the background paper of this card is white, I'm not going to add that extra 1/8 of an inch of the white card base showing. I feel like it's too much white when I do that. I just tied a little bow on that right hand side. And now for this card, I'm going to be assembling the baby bottle. I have it cut out in some white cardstock and also some yellow cardstock. I used the white and yellow cardstock to cut out the frame as well as the outline die. And since only that top portion of the bottle is going to be yellow, I did cut them apart. And that little sliver between the 2 cardstock colors isn't going to show at all. So I did put that yellow cardstock on the back side of the foam just to make sure I had the placement correct. And now I'm using the inside foam from the baby bottle, and I'm going to put a piece between the top portion and then the lower portion of the bottle. That way I can have 2 different color shaker toppings without them mixing. So put some yellow diamonds in the top, and then in the bottom I'm using some of the bitty buttons in white and then also some white diamonds. These little buttons are super sweet, and I love how they fit inside a shaker card. I'll go ahead and seal all of that in place using the acetate. And now I'll start assembling the front portion of the bottle. Again, I only want that top portion in yellow and then the rest in white, but I will adhere the whole frame in white first, and then I can just glue on that top portion in yellow. And I used some heavier white cardstock for that frame, so it took a little longer to dry. So I did put my acrylic block on there for just a little bit before I moved on to adding the yellow. Now for the little screw top, the little band on the bottle, I cut this out using some white glitter foam by Queen & Company. And since it is self-adhesive, all I had to do was pull off the back and adhere it right onto that little baby bottle. So I've gone ahead and stamped out the sentiment. This reads, "Sweet Little One." I cut a scalloped oval die cut, and then I just have it adhered onto the card all the way to the left-hand side, and I just cut off the very outside edge so that it's flush on the left-hand side. And then I also have two small banners, one in the same pink cardstock and then the other in some yellow. And now I pulled out some of the fun flowers. I'm using two different sizes of the flowers, one in pink and then the other one in white. Just adhered those to the card using some glue dots. And now just to finish off the card, I'm using some pink pearls, some yellow petite posies, and then also some pink jelly gems. And there is my finished card, and then also the non-shaker version. And I think I prefer the shaker version this time. Those bitty buttons inside the bottle are so sweet. I can't wait to add them to future shaker cards. So now here's just a quick recap of the 8 cards I made using Queen & Company's Baby Shaped Shaker Kit. This is another fun kit by Queen & Company and perfect to make those welcome baby cards. I will have links provided in the description box if you are interested in any of the products that I showed. I'd love to know if you prefer the shaker version or the non-shaker versions. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.